Our earliest courts appeared after the concession of 1665. King Charles II of Great Britain gave the province of Carolina, what is now North Carolina, South Carolina, portions of East Tennessee, and Georgia, to 8 noblemen. You might recognize some of these names: Carteret, Hyde, Craven, Albemarle. The nobles created provincial trial courts of law. However, all appeals were heard in England until after the Revolutionary War, and England was a 6-week sail under ideal conditions and a 14-week sail under adverse weather. As you can imagine, there weren't too many appeals. In April 1776, North Carolina's Provincial Congress issued the Halifax Resolve, the first official colonial act allowing delegates to vote for independence. November 15, 1777, marked the creation of 6 judicial districts. Superior Court was held twice a year in Wilmington, New Bern, Edenton, Hillsborough, Halifax, and Salisbury. 3 Superior Court judges were appointed: Samuel Ashe of New Hanover County, Samuel Spencer of Anson County, and James Iredell of Chowan County. They rode a circuit, never the same twice in a row, holding court in each district. Justices of the peace were appointed by the governor to address less complicated, localized legal issues. North Carolina became one of the original 13 states, declaring statehood November 21, 1789. Bayard v. Singleton was decided November 1787 in our Superior Court. It set legal precedents for courts to review legislative action 16 years before the U.S. Supreme Court case of Marbury v. Madison. Beginning in 1799, Superior Court judges were required to meet twice a year at the Court of Conference to resolve any of their conflicting decisions. This need led to the formation of our state Supreme Court in 1818, holding its first session January of 1819. John L. Taylor was our first Chief Justice. He served with Leonard Henderson and John Hall. Constitutional amendments in 1868 required judges to be elected to 8-year terms rather than appointed for life. The late 1800s to early 1900s saw a significant shift in our economy. Job opportunities in growing textile and manufacturing businesses led to the creation of administrative agencies. In 1891, our legislature established the Railroad Commission. Our first administrative courts emerged to handle decisions outside the reach of traditional courts. In 1899, it was the Corporation Commission. In 1929, the Industrial Commission, and in 1933, the Utilities Commission. Over 100 quasi-judicial commissions emerged dealing with banking, alcohol, elections, parole, education, agriculture, and occupational licensing. From 1905 to 1917, more than 100 separate special act courts were created by the legislature. Many were funded by the volume of monies collected, quickly undermining public confidence and held publicly in disrepute. In fact, they were so corrupt, they were outlawed in 1917.
Prior to 1966, North Carolina had 3 levels of court: our Supreme Court, the Superior Court, and a hodgepodge of 1,500 or so local courts that shared little from city to city and county to county in structure or practice. By the 1950s, this hodgepodge included 940 Justice of Peace courts, some with set hours and courtrooms, some without, 256 city or county recorders courts, 106 juvenile and domestic courts, and over 100 special act courts. There were few consistencies from court to court in jurisdiction, funding, selections of officials, criminal and civil procedures, removals, and vacancies. In 1955, the Commission on Improving and Expediting the Administration of Justice was appointed by the State Bar Association at the request of Governor Luther Hodges. It was called the Bell Commission after the chair, J. Spencer Bell. It was to examine best practices in the country and recommend improvements to our courts. 1966 saw the creation of our unified court system, an administrative office of the courts to manage precious judicial resources, and the responsibilities of managing our state courts was then vested in the Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court. The district courts were established in 22 counties initially in December of 1966, 61 more counties in 1968, and 17 remaining counties in 1970. The district courts assumed the cases and functions of nearly all local courts. Specifically, all types of civil cases, criminal misdemeanors, domestic and domestic violence, juvenile, involuntary commitments, and magistrates' appeals fell upon our district courts. Justices of the peace were replaced by magistrates. The Court of Appeals began its sessions October 1 of 1967. By then, we had the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals reviewing appeals from the Superior and District Court trial levels. Additionally, small claims courts dealt with a number of issues formerly handled by justices of the peace. Consistencies in the power to hear cases, procedure, costs, and remedies existed to the extent that our courts were then truly unified. Today, we now have 7 justices serving on our Supreme Court, 15 judges on our Court of Appeals, 107 Superior Court judges, 247 District Court judges, 649 magistrates, and 100 clerks of Superior Court. Our courts handle nearly 3 million cases per year. Your judicial servants yield more than $676 million to improve the education, safety, and quality of life of our citizens. While North Carolina taxpayers typically see the fewest dollar amounts spent on their court system, their judges remain some of the most productive in the country as compared with other states. Those in the court system continue to remain dedicated to doing their best to serve you. We look forward to sharing these significant milestones with each of you and welcome the opportunity to improve upon our courts.